Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to episode 6 of my Minecraft Survival Let's Play. And if you remember in the last episode, I said I was going to start trading with villagers today. But I had a bit of a change of plan, and I went ahead and started trading with villagers in between episodes instead. So just head over here to what I've set up to trade with the villagers. I've tried to make this place look like a little village with the path going through the middle, and then each little hut kind of looks like a villager house. And then I've got the little beds in here with the workstation and some bookshelves with the lantern, and they're all just the same, but with the different workstations of course. Then in the back I've got a few chests, which this is just the items I used to trade with the villagers. So over here this one will have a bit of wheat, and then pumpkins, melons and eggs. Now this place isn't automated at all, it's completely manual. I've got to go and get the villagers in here myself, and I'm going to show you how I do that in a minute. But first I just want to show you the librarians that I've got. So over here I've got mending, which is mending for 12 emeralds, which is good. Over here is the unbreaking, I think. Unbreaking 3 there for 30 emeralds. And this guy is the efficiency 4 for 24 emeralds. So those are the only librarians I've got so far. But by getting those, that meant I could get some pretty good diamond armour and tools. So I managed to get Unbreaking 3 and Mending on basically everything. Efficiency 5 on the pickaxe, axe and the shovel. Got a pretty decent bow, but that's not got Mending on. And the armour's pretty good as well, with Mending and Unbreaking on most of it. I think it's just the boots without Unbreaking on, but everything else has Mending and Unbreaking. And I also managed to get quite a lot of emeralds to spare, so that means I can go and get quite a lot more enchanted books and make some more armour and stuff in the future. But first of all, I'm just going to show you how I've been getting the emeralds, or the villagers down here. It's quite a long process, especially to get the good villagers with mending and unbreaking and stuff, so let's quickly show you that, then I'll get to what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so the way I've been getting my villagers down to the trading area is by going out and finding a zombie villager like this. I just trap him in a boat, and then throw a potion of weakness at him, and then a golden apple if I can get close. And this just starts a transformation to turn him into a normal villager. While that's happening, I'll just do a little perimeter just to trap him in here, and then I'll wait for him to turn into a villager. So once he's transformed into a villager, you're just going to want to make sure the place is lit up so nothing spawns in here. And then you can just go ahead and break the boat. And then after this, just put a bed down and whatever workstation you want. But I'm using a lectern because I want a librarian. Then once he transforms, just look at his trades, and he's not got any book trades on the first 2. So I'm just going to break this and put it back down. Then he should connect to it again at some point if he stops looking at me. And once he transforms, just look again, and the book trade's on the second one, but I need the book trades on the first 2. So I'll just do it again. And you need to make sure there's no other workstations around for him to connect to while you're doing this. So now he's got a book trade on the first, which I don't really want that book, so I'm just going to break it again and keep placing it down. And you just keep doing this until you get whatever trade you want on the first one, which that's not even a book trade. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get a book that I actually want, and then I'll be back. Okay, that took about 2 or 3 minutes, so not too long, and I've finally got a villager that I actually want. So it's quite expensive for 63 emeralds, but it's for a sharpness 5 book, so it's quite a useful thing to have. I'll definitely put that on my sword at some point. So the next thing you want to do is just do a few paper trades with this guy, or just any few trades. So I get a bit of XP, and this means that now if I break the bed and I break the lectern, this guy will stay the same villager, he won't change his trade, and he will keep the sharpness 5 trade. So now I just want to get him in a boat. I'll just break the fences, and then I'm just going to go on a quick ride down to the base over there, and I'll put him in the little hut. So once I've got the villager down here in the trading hall, I just wait for it to be night time so all the other villagers are asleep. This just means if I put a bed in here, it should connect to it like that. So when I break the boat, I can break it. It should just run straight into the thing to bed. I just put the workstation down and that's it. Completely done. So if I just get him out of bed quick and we can view, it's still the sharpness 5 trade, it didn't change. And that's completely finished now. So to get each villager it probably takes about 10 to 20 minutes depending on how long it takes to get the trades and how long it takes to find the villager. But yeah, it's a pretty easy process and I've only got 4 more things to fill up now. These 2 are for farmers. Then I think the N2 are both going to be toolsmiths or something like that. But I'm going to just fill them up after I've done what I'm going to do in today's episode, which I'm actually going to get straight into right now. I'm sure most of you have already figured out what I'm going to be doing in today's episode by the title and the thumbnail. But if not, then what I'm going to be doing is going into here and I'm hoping to kill the Ender Dragon. I've not done it for a long time, so I'm actually going to be getting a bit of help with it and I'm going to be getting my friend online. And I've just done a little bit of preparing over here, so I've got a few potions, just regen and strength. I've got a bit of scaffolding, just to scaffold up to the obsidian towers. Some water in case I fall off to cushion the fall. Bit of extra food. The ender pearls are in case I spawn away from the island and I need to throw an ender pearl over there. And the totem of undying is just in case I die, which I'm not planning on doing that, but I'll just take it anyway. I managed to get a few of these from an accidental raid that I started on the base. I had the bad omen effect and then I walked in to trade with the villagers and it started a raid. So yeah, that's how I got a few of them. And the main reason I want to be killing the Ender Dragon today is because I want the Elytra. I'm just fed up of running around or walking around the map to get everything. It's going to be so much easier if we can just fly everywhere. But I also want the shulker boxes, which make everything a lot easier as well. And the end rods I quite like for the light source, so those are the main 3 things I want today. But anyway, I'm not going to be killing it alone. I've got my mate coming and she's not going to be on for another 2 hours or so. So what I'm going to be doing is probably just going to make a few more potions and maybe make a backup bit of armour in case I do happen to die. But I'm not too sure yet. And we'll just get straight into the fight.
Derp 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 derp
Okay, so that was a lot harder than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to just come in here, probably take about 10 minutes to kill the thing, and I could do a few highlights and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure instead I've just put a death montage in there, because I think I died about 60 times. But yeah, it's dead now anyway, so that's the main thing. I didn't get any XP because it all went through the portal, so I'm not sure where that's gone, but I'm not too bothered about the XP anyway. And to kill it, I actually had to kind of cheat a little bit. I don't know if it's cheating, but I built this underneath, so from down here the dragon can't really get you, and then every time it's in the middle I had to jump up here, and I ran to the middle and started hitting it with the sword, and it took about 5 minutes to kill it that way, so I should have probably started with that method. But anyway, I've got the egg now, so just got it in my ender chest to keep it safe. What I want to do next is prepare a few things, and I want to head over here into the what they're called, end cities or something like that, and then I can start getting the elytra and shulkers and everything. You might have seen in the highlights that when I was killing the dragon I actually got knocked down into the void and I lost everything, and that's when I was trying to get on top of that tower there to destroy the cage, and then I could get to the crystal, but because it's right next to the edge I got knocked down into the void straight away. So to destroy that crystal I actually had to go inside the tower and mine upwards through the middle, and then I destroyed all of the cage around it. Then I got back down, stood down here, and then I shot it with an arrow from down low, so that's how I managed to get that one. But anyway, I had to build a little bridge over here just because I didn't want to risk throwing an ender pearl over every time. And I think I'm ready just to jump straight into the portal now, so I've got a few things together, mostly just fireworks and some building blocks. A bit of wood and food as well, but that should be everything I need. I shouldn't be in here too long, so I'm just going to take this with me and then chuck this through here. And I've landed on top of this, and that's very loud. Wow. So it doesn't look like there's an end city around here. I don't want to anger too many endermen. Okay, so I can't see any end cities whatsoever. So I think what I'm going to do is just start pillaring over to another island somewhere in some direction, maybe that one, that looks like it's the closest one, and I'm just going to keep heading over somewhere until I find an end city to raid. Bridging over the void like that was pretty scary, but it was worth it because I got pretty lucky with the end city that I found over here, because it's the one with the pirate ship. So this means I can go up there and get the elytra straight away, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try my best not to look at any endermen while I'm doing that. Took me a little bit of time to get through the end city, kill all of the shulkers, stuff like that, and I ended up looting it all. But I did make my way up here and I've got my elytra on my back now. So I'll just show you the loot I've got from the city. It wasn't the best loot ever. That sword isn't too bad. The pickaxe is actually pretty good. I'll probably add another efficiency 4 book to it, so it's an efficiency 5. And that can be my backup pickaxe. The shovel's pretty bad, and then the leggings, they're not great, I probably won't use them. I did get a few diamonds, gold, iron, emeralds, stuff like that, and 24 shulker shells. I actually had 26, but I made a shulker box here and I filled it with rockets. So I think the next thing I'm going to be doing this episode is heading back to the base, and I want to enchant my elytra and put some mending on there. And then I want to fill a few shulker boxes with fireworks and food, wood, stuff like that, just so I can head back out into the end and I can just fly around and look for as many end cities as I can find. I'm just going to raid every single one I can find and get all the elytra, get all of the emeralds and diamonds in the chest, get all of the ender chests, the end rods, the banners even. I'm just going to get as much stuff as I can fit into the shulker boxes that I can carry, and then I'm going to head back to the base. And I can't forget about the dragon head before I head back either. I'm going to collect all of the dragon heads from all of the cities as well. Okay, so I'm ready to go and spend a few hours raiding all of the end cities now. I just prepared a few shulkers here. So all of the red ones are full of fireworks. This is just so I don't get stranded in the end with no way to fly back to the portal. It's definitely overkill, but I just really don't want to be getting stuck in the end. And then the brown one is just got a bit of wood in there, and then quite a lot of food just to make sure I don't starve to death. And then the wood's for like crafting chests to make some more shulkers if I need to, or anything else I might need wood for. Yeah, this should be enough to stay in the end for quite a few hours. I've got a few more shulkers in here that are all just empty. And of course my armour has mending on everything, so I should just be able to repair my armour as I go along, so that shouldn't break either. My plan is just to go to the end, raid as many cities as I can, and I'm just going to fill my ender chest full of shulkers that are full of loot. Then I'll fill my inventory with shulkers that are full of loot as well. So I'll probably just do a montage of this, because it's going to probably take me 5 or 6 hours to go around looting all of the end cities, and then I'll just show you whatever footage I've got. I've had a little bit of a change of plan, and I've decided I'm just going to be doing some updates instead. So every time I find something interesting or some good loot or anything like that, I'll just do a quick update. So this here is the third city that I've looted now since I came back out here. And it's the second one that's had the pirate ship there. So I've managed to get 2 more elytras from there. And unfortunately I forgot to get one of the dragon heads, I've only got 1. I might go back and get the other one if I remember where the city is. I think it's just a straight line in that direction. And from those 3 cities, I've only got this loot. Like, it's not the best loot considering how big the cities were, but there's just not been many chests spawning in. That's the only armour or tools I've got, and it's not got the best enchantments on. 8 diamonds isn't too bad though. But I have been collecting as many end rods as I can get to. These are a few that I've missed here. And I've been killing every single shulker, and this is how many shulkers and end rods I've managed to get. I'm hoping to get maybe a full shulker worth of shulker shells by the end of the trip, because I've got a few plans where I'm going to need a lot of shulker boxes. But what I've been doing is collecting all of my stuff in the shulkers and trying to get it all into the ender chest. Like every 5 minutes or so I'll just take a break, put everything in the shulkers and make sure everything's in the ender chest. So just in case I do happen to die or fall into the void or whatever, I'm only going to lose my tools and my armour, and I won't lose all of the shulkers and the diamonds, all of the loot I've got from there, the elytras and stuff. That's all safe in the ender chest. So what I'm going to be doing now is heading over to the next city, which is right there. And I'm pretty sure this is a big one as well, which has, this has got a pirate ship as well. So I'm going to loot through this, and if I find any good loot, I'll keep you updated. I found my first little bit of decent loot here. It's not the best, but it's a pretty decent pickaxe. I could definitely just put some more efficiency books on there to get it to efficiency 5. Then I can use that as a backup pickaxe in case I ever lose my own. The chestplate isn't that great, but this is, I think this is the 5th or 6th city I've looted now, and it's definitely the biggest one I've found so far. So I've already looted up there, there wasn't too much great loot, but I've still got to go up there. Above me, I'm not sure if there's going to be anything up there, and also over to the pirate ship, so hopefully I can find something else here. Okay, so since the last update I looted all of that city that I showed you. There wasn't much there, and then I've come over to this one which I found. I've looted a little bit of it. I've got the elytra and looted these chests here, and I've just realised now for some reason that the ender dragon heads stack up to 64. Now, I thought they only stacked up to 1 like this. I thought I only needed to collect 1 to complete this series, which is to collect 1 stack of every single item in the game. But I'm actually going to have to collect 64 dragon heads. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that all today, but I'm definitely going to have to come back a few more times, I think, to collect 64. It's going to take me quite a while to do that. That's probably going to be the hardest thing to collect on the list. And I just thought I'd do a quick update on all of the loot I've got so far. I've got 22 diamonds, which is pretty good. I've got quite a bit of diamond gear here, but if I go over all of the enchantments, none of it really has very good enchantments at all here. The swords are pretty bad as well, but the pickaxes at the end are probably the best things I've got so far. So this is the one I showed you a second ago, and then I've got this one which I just need to add an unbreaking book to it, and then this one here which I just need to add an efficiency 4, then I'll have efficiency 5, fortune 3 unbreaking and mending. So the pickaxes are pretty good, but everything else is pretty trash there. And then I just thought I'd do a quick update on the shulkers. I've got 2 stacks and 23 so far. I'm gonna need a lot more than that. Like I said earlier, I want to get about a shulker's worth, so a full shulker box worth of shulker shells before I go home, because I've got some pretty big plans where I'm going to need a lot in the next few episodes. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and kill a few shulkers that I can hear over there, and just keep heading off in this direction until I find some more cities. So I actually just managed to die. It was a bit stupid from me really. I just didn't use the elytra in time and I fell to my death. But luckily all of my loot was in the ender chest, so I'm going to head over to the base and I can get most of that back. If you look at the bottom of the screen on my XP, it's level 68, and that's just all the XP from the Ender Dragon fight. It came through the portal, and because I've spawned here in the spawn for some reason instead of at my bed, I had all of the XP on the ground and it's given me all of the XP back. So I could also go and enchant a few extra things if I want to as well. So I think what I'm just going to do is head over to my base, get some stuff out the ender chest, and then I might head back to the end and see if I can remember where the loot was. And I might be able to go and get all of my stuff back. I'm back at the base now, and I've just spent a little bit of time emptying out my shulkers into these chests here. And this is most of the loot that I got, and I've picked out a little bit here at the bottom that I'm going to be using now to go and try get the rest of my stuff back. 33 diamonds is pretty good. Most of this armour isn't that great. And then I'm pretty sure I showed you with the pickaxes, which are probably the best thing that I've found. And up here I've got all of the elytra that I found, a few saddles, the end rods, quite a few shulker shells, the 9 dragon heads, and then these 2 shulkers are just full of iron enchanted items that aren't that great, but I just thought I'd keep them anyway. So what I'm going to do now is pick my ender chest up for a start. I'm just going to head over here to the villager trading area, trade with them for a little bit, get a few decent bucks. Then I'm going to head over to the mob spawner and see if I can get a few extra tools and armour, and I'm going to fly over to the end. I'll put some unbreaking and mending on my elytra, then I'll just go and see if I can get my stuff back. I don't think I'll be able to, but I'll just try anyway. So after spending a little bit of time trading and a little bit of time down here enchanting at the skeleton spawner, this is the armour that I managed to get. It's probably better than the armour that I've actually lost in the end. The main thing is the unbreaking and mending on everything, and then down here is the sword, which again unbreaking and mending, and the bow, which isn't that good because it's not got any power or anything like that, but it'll do for now. So what I'm going to do now is just head over here and get an arrow so I can actually shoot my bow, and then I'm going to head over to the end and just see if I can get my stuff back. So I couldn't find whereabouts I died, but I wasn't really expecting to really. I just thought I'd give it a go and see if I could get the elytra back. I wasn't too bothered about the loot that I lost because all of the important stuff was in the ender chest, so everything I lost is easy to get back anyway. But since then I have looted up a few more end cities. I've spent about another hour out here looting up, and in that time I've got 3 elytra, I got 3 more dragon heads, and then I've got some good loot in here. It's not the best, but there's some usable stuff in here. Like these boots here are pretty good, I just put mending on them. That sword would be good, but it's got Bane of Arthropods, which isn't very usable. Some Death Strider and stuff. The rest of it isn't the best, but it's still loot that I can definitely use in the future. And then some gold, iron and diamonds in there. I've also got another stack and a bit of shulker shells. Anyway, I've been out here for about 6 hours now, I'd say, just looting up all of the end cities. That includes the time I was out here before I died as well. And it's just getting a little bit boring and repetitive being out here. So what I'm going to be doing next is just looting this last city that's beneath me now. And then I'm going to head back over to the base and do a few other little projects around there before I end the episode. So before I leave, I just thought I'd go through a few tips and tricks that I've learned while I've been out here, just for anyone else that wants to come out here and loot the end for the first time. The first tip that I learned is one that I've actually talked about already, and this is just the ender chest with all of the shulkers in. If you keep all of the shulkers in the ender chest, you've got quite a lot of storage in there, and then you just keep all of your valuable stuff that you find throughout the end in the ender chest. And that way, if you die like I did, you don't really lose anything too valuable. So if I died, the only things I really care about that I'd lose is the armour, which is pretty easy to get back anyway, especially now I've got the villagers to trade with, and then the sword and the pickaxe. which again, it's pretty easy to get that back from the villagers. Plus I've got all of the loot in the ender chest, so I could also use some of that stuff if I wanted to. The next tip that I want to talk about quickly is actually a few tips rolled into one. And these are the enchantments that I've been using that I've found pretty useful once I've been out here. So the first two I want to talk about are probably the most important two, and that's unbreaking and mending. I've got that on everything, and this is just so nothing breaks, which is quite obvious, but you don't want anything breaking once you're out here, especially the elytra. So that's why I've got unbreaking and mending on everything. The next tip I want to talk about is the feather falling. So I think I would have died about 100 times if I didn't have the feather falling. It's definitely useful to have. The shulkers will shoot you up in the air, and then 90% of the time you'd probably die if you didn't have the feather falling on. So that's definitely another useful thing to have. The next two things are both on the sword. So before I died, I didn't have the sharpness on the sword, and it was taking about 5 or 6 hits per shulker to get the kill. But now with sharpness 5, it's only taking about 3 hits. So this means I can kill the shulkers quicker, and it gives them less time to teleport away. So that means I'm not searching for where they teleport to, and it saves me a little bit of time there. The next one is the looting free. So without looting, there's a 50% chance that you get a shulker shell from a shulker kill. So that means you need to kill 2 shulkers to get 1 shell on average. But with looting free, I've been getting 0 to 4 shells per kill. So that's how I've managed to get quite a lot of shulker shells overall in about 5 or 6 hours of looting. And the last two things I want to talk about quickly are on the bow. So the first one is the infinity, which is quite obvious. It means you just need to carry 1 arrow around and you won't need any more than that. And the next one is actually something I don't have on this one. I had on my other one that I lost, and that's the power 5. So there's a few times that the shulkers are quite far away, like in this room down here, and you'll need to shoot the shulkers because it's quite hard to get down, especially once the room's bigger than this and there's a lot of them. So the power 5 helps to kill them pretty quickly. Without the power 5 I think it's a 4-shot kill, but with the power 5 it kills them in like 2. So it's definitely helpful to have the power 5 on the bow as well. I'm just going to loot up here quickly, and then I will head on and get the next tip. There's nothing in there, and if I can get this, unbreaking free. So while I'm here, this is actually another tip that I wanted to talk about, and that is how to loot these rooms that I'm in right now. So I always land on the roof, and then I'll come down the stairs, stand in this corner and loot both of the chests, which are usually here and here. And then it's a lot easier to kill the shulkers if you just stand up here and hit them with the bow. You can loot the room from the bottom and make your way up, but it's a lot easier if you just come to the top and you can get all the shulkers and you don't really get hit from any of the shulkers. So that's another little tip that I've been using as well. And another tip that I've got, which is something I mentioned earlier as well, and that's just to stock up on things before you come out here. So I stocked up on fireworks. I've got 4 shulkers in here full of fireworks, and then whatever's in here as well. I've also stocked up on a lot of food. I did go overkill on the food. I just wasn't really too sure how much I was going to need when I was out here. But you really don't want to be running out of fireworks, so that's why I stocked up on a lot of them. And also just a little bit of wood just to make crafting tables and chests or whatever else you might need once you're out here as well. So it's nice just to stock up and make sure you've got this stuff, just to make sure you don't need to go back to the base and get all of the stuff you need when you need it. So the last tip that I've got before I head back over to the base is one I've used a few times. I found it pretty useful, and this is just to keep the fireworks pretty close to the sword in the hotbar. Now for me personally, I run around using the sword all of the time. I always carry the sword in the hand. So this just means if I accidentally make an enderman angry like this, or a few, instead of fighting them all, I can just run and jump off here into the void, use the wings and then fly off into the distance or up on top of the tower or whatever to get away from the enderman. This just means you've got less chance of dying, because if you've got the wings you've got a little bit less protection because you don't have as much armour, so that's the reason for that. Now I'm just going to head back over to the base if I can find the portal, and then I'm going to start a few other projects. So I actually just found another little city on the way back to the portal, and it's only a little one, like the one I was just in a second ago. So it should only take me a minute or two to loot it, so I'm just going to quickly see what's in the chest. I don't really like beta arthropods, it's a bit useless. I'll take the gold, that's always useful. Then 5 diamonds, that's pretty good. Some iron and another 6 pieces of gold, so overall that's not too bad. So I'm just going to quickly kill these shulkers down here, and then I'll get back to the base. I've made it back to the base, and I've just emptied all of the shulkers from the ender chest into these chests again. So now this is all of the loot that I got from the 6 hours or so in the end. You've seen some of it already, and then the rest of it is just new stuff I've added. So overall I got 12 elytra, plus the one that I've got that I'm wearing right now, and then I did lose one in the end as well. I've got 12 dragon heads. I didn't actually go back and get that other one that I forgot to get. And there's also another one up in my storage room near the ender dragon egg. I've got quite a lot of end rods which I'm going to be using for lighting around the base in some projects. I definitely need a lot more shulker shells for a project that I'm planning to do pretty soon, which is actually finishing a project that I started a few episodes ago. I've got plenty of iron tools and armour, but I don't really know what to do with it. I'm not too bothered about the enchantments because I'm never really going to use it over my diamond stuff, but it's just here. This is just horse stuff, which again I'm probably not going to use because I've got the elytra, so I don't really need horses. And here's the diamond tools. There's some okay stuff here that you've seen, and then there's some pretty trash stuff in here as well. And then I've got lots of diamond armour in here, which again, a lot of it is pretty bad stuff I'm never really going to use, but I've just got loads of it anyway. I think I might build like a blacksmith or something out like in front of the base, around where the farms are, and then I could keep all of the iron tools and stuff and all of the diamonds in there, and that could be like quite a nice project to work on. And of course I've got all these diamonds and stuff at the bottom as well, which I am always running low on gold, so I'm pretty happy to get a load of that. And diamonds are always nice. I've burnt through quite a lot of diamonds this episode, getting all of my armour and tools that I lost twice, so yeah, it's pretty nice to get a few diamonds back as well. So what I was going to do to end off today's episode is I was going to come over here to the skeleton spawner. I was going to flatten out a little bit of land, and I was going to build a nice house around the entrance. But I've spent a little bit of time on a creative world, and I just can't really find a design or a style that I want to build in yet. And once I've got one building here, I'm going to try and copy the same style of building around the base every time I build another house or a blacksmith or whatever. So I really don't want to rush into the style of the build just yet. So instead I'm going to leave that for now, and I'll probably do it next episode when I'm doing a little bit of work on the base. And I want to do a little bit of work on the outside of the base as well, maybe build a few bridges and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be a next episode job. And to finish off today's episode, what I'm going to be doing instead is just heading down to my strip mine, which is just over here. And I'm going to be doing a 1 hour strip mining session, just to see how much loot I can get in 1 hour. I'm running low on a few resources, like, well, I've lost a lot of diamonds this episode, so I want to try and get some of them back. I've also not got too much redstone left, and I always need a lot of gold, so I'm just going to head down here, set my timer for 1 hour and see how much I can get. I'm down here at the XP farm repairing my pickaxe after that mining session, so I'm just going to show you all of the loot that I managed to get from the 1 hour, and then I'm going to end the episode. So this is everything I managed to get, or at least all of the ores that I managed to get. I'm not really too bothered about the coal because I've got, I think, a full double chest of coal ores up at the base, so I don't really need too much more coal. I always run low on iron, so I managed to get almost 4 stacks of that, which is nice. The redstone is the main thing that I needed because I've basically got none left. I managed to get 3 stacks and 10. The lapis I'm going to be using in the next episode, and I don't have much of that left. Only 26 gold, which isn't great because I always use a lot of gold making powered rails and stuff like that. And then only 11 diamond, which I kind of expected to get more because I found 6 diamond within about 10 blocks of mining, so I definitely thought I'd get more than 11. But yeah, that's everything I managed to get from the 1 hour session. Anyway, I have run out of time to record for today's episode, so this is going to be the end. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one where I'm going to be doing a little bit of work around the base.